Learning outcome, discuss elastic and plastic deformation. OAB region is known as elastic deformation. It is reversible. When the forces are removed, the object tends to its original shape. Metal and ceramic show linear elasticity. CDE region is known as plastic deformation. It is irreversible. Object in plastic deformation range will first have undergone elastic. Tensile test. For a ductile material, during the tensile test, the necking occurs before fracture. Any type of loading may result both types of deformation. Plastic deformation only occurs after the material is elastically deformed. Without elastic deformation, the plastic deformation is not possible. Differences between elastic and plastic deformation. In elastic deformation, material first undergo elastic deformation under the application of external loading. Whereas in plastic deformation, the plastic deformation is the permanent deformation. In elastic deformation, once the external load is removed from an elastically deformed body, it regains its original shape. In plastic deformation, when a body is plastically deformed, it retains its deformed shape even after the removal of external load. Next, in elastic deformation, atoms of the material are displaced temporarily from their original lattice site. They return back to their original position after the removal of external load. But for plastic deformation, atoms of the solid are displaced permanently from their original lattice site. They don't return back to the original position even after the removal of external load. Elastic deformation is characterized by the property elasticity. By definition, elasticity is the property of the solid material by virtue of which it tends to regain its shape after the removal of external load. For plastic deformation is characterized by the property of plasticity. By definition, plasticity is the property of the solid material by virtue of which it tends to retain its deformed shape even after the removal of external load. Amount of elastic deformation is very small, but amount of plastic deformation is quite large. External force required for elastic deformation of solid is quite small, but in plastic deformation, force required is also high. Energy absorbed by the material during elastic deformation is called module of resilience. But total energy absorbed by the material during elastic and plastic deformation region is called module of toughness. Hooke's law of elasticity is applicable within this elastic region. But for plastic deformation, Hooke's law is not applicable if the material is plastically deformed. Most solid material display a linear stress-strain behavior within this elastic region. But in plastic deformation, stress-strain curve is non-linear. Material first undergo elastic deformation under the application of external loading. But for plastic deformation, occur after it is elastically deformed due to the application of external loading. Mechanical and metallurgical properties of the solid material remain unaltered when it is elastically deformed. Many properties of the solid material change considerably for plastic.